Good day, Professor. So the title of the book that you approved is Anya's Ghost. The creative team was written and illustrated by Vera Boscol. It was designed by Colleen A.F. Venerable and John Martz. The publisher is Squarefish. It was published in March 25th, 2014. This is the second printing. The length of it is 240 pages. Some interesting tidbits about the book is that it is a genuine graphic novel. The entire book is illustrated in black and white, and it is a complete story. It's not a compilation of different little stories. It is a complete story. It does follow the three-act format of 1/4 of the story being the introduction, 1/2 being the body of the action, and 1/4 being the conclusion. Act 1 begins obviously on page 1, ends on page 54. Act 2 begins on page 55 and ends on page 166. Act 3 begins on page 167 and ends on page 211. Act 1 concludes with after Anya meets the ghost Emily, and they are in class, and Emily tells her that she can help her cheat on a test, and it decides that there is some value in keeping Emily around. Act 3 begins the process of the transformation of Emily from being a nice, sweet ghost to being what Anya later discovers is a murderous ghost who's seeking revenge and has taken on the persona of Anya, not for her betterment, but to her detriment. The story does have a solid arc. It follows the ABC format with a clear story arc. The first arc is the relationship between Anya and Emily. That is story A. That's the primary story. Story B is the relationship of Anya with her mother. Her mother is a Russian immigrant. Anya struggles to understand or even to decide if she wants to embrace her heritage or if she, as she is doing now, would prefer for people not to know that her mother is an immigrant who has yet to get her own U.S. citizenship. Story C is the inner turmoil that Anya has with being Russian, but it also has to do with her relationship with Demi, who is a Russian immigrant child as well, who has yet to find a way to fit into this new society called America and the way the teenage community operates and functions. The story has a clear beginning, middle, and end. I appreciate the way the story ends. The characters show growth, a concept that we learned about when a character is on a quest. In a way, Anya and Emily are on a quest. Anya's on a quest to find out who murdered Emily. Emily, on the hand, is on a quest to find out how to be free from her prison of being down in that cave and to try to relive a life that has long since been snuffed out. Snuffed out because of her own actions and killing a young man that she loved and the woman that he was with. Do any of the characters have a solid character arc? Well, yes. Both Anya and Emily, as I said. Anya transformed from being negative about her situation and avoiding the reminders of her heritage to eventually helping Demi and beginning to embrace that she can have both ends. By the end of the story, she's began to bond with Demi, even if it's just in the library, just by offering him the ways in which she was able to fit in at school, where he is seen as an outsider, a geek, and is often taunted. She's beginning to take pride in all of who she is. even helping her mother to study for her citizenship test. Emily transforms from a ghost who seems to be loving and compassionate and wanting to help Anya into this evil, vindictive, murderous psychopath that ultimately Anya destroys by showing her the reality of who she is. Does the story have effective transitions? The transitions are effective and clearly defined. When Emily suggests to Anya that she can help her cheat, you realize that there is a shift in their relationship. Another example is when Anya gets help from Demi and shares her personal experiences as a new person in school, as Demi helps her to try to be a detective and determine who killed Emily, since Emily has told her that she was murdered. It's through that process they discover that Emily caused her own death because of her murderous actions. Does the story have a mini comic concept? I could not find one. It is one continuous story. Um, they do give you kind of cliffhangers at the end of each of the um, even pages, but I didn't really see a mini comic as we've been taught and as it was explained to us in our readings and in your video. Does the story make effective use of directional flow? Absolutely. The story reads completely from left to right. It is easy to follow. Each page compels you to turn to the next page. As an example, on page 125, Andy is leaving a party, and the last panel finds her walking out of the house, and the panel is darker than the other panel previously, drawn in shadows. It makes you wonder, is this setting you up for something where she's going to be hurt or attacked? It forces you to have to turn the page to find out what happens. I didn't observe anything else regarding the book or any discussions that we had in class. Overall, I enjoyed the book. I probably would read it again. I have recommended the book to others, and yeah, it was a cool book. And I think it is a good representation of a comic graphic novel that is a full story and not just pieces of a story that are put together and then labeled graphic novel. Hopefully that answers all the questions. Thanks a lot for all you've done this month with class. All right, bye.